So here we are today, and
hang on. Okay, go.
Hi, it's Johnny Vigna back here, and I'm not going to talk directly about health today, but a subject that's very related. The World Health Organization said that people that don't have money are basically more prone to illness and disease than people who have money. So I'm going to talk today a little bit about how someone who isn't born into money can get money. And this is a very important thing in helping people improve their health, is also to help their bank account. And we're going to talk about a few things today that are simple and truths about money, and this is something usually that people don't learn in school. So unfortunately, you have to go out of your way to learn these basic life skills about how to keep money, how to save money, and then what do you do with the money that you have. So to be quick about this, just to get into the basic principles that we're talking about here, we need to sort of understand that because this is not something that you're going to learn in school, you have to associate with yourself with people that think that they're going to make something of themselves or make some money. It's not the end all and be all from a spiritual point of view, but even from a spiritual point of view, people were meant to prosper. And you know, there's many things that you've seen in the media these days talk about the power of bringing prosperity or wealth to yourself by thinking positive and bringing that positive energy to yourself for health, but also for prosperity. So, okay, so you've decided now that you want prosperity, and you're thinking to yourself, how's that going to come to me? I'm working a 9 to 5, and I'm too tired to do anything else, so how can I possibly do anything better? Well, there's a couple things that we need to understand. On one side of the paradigm is that you're either working for somebody else or that you're working for yourself. Now, when you're working for yourself or you're working for someone else, you're still very dependent on, if you're not at work today, you're not going to make any money. Certainly you might have health benefits that you get paid a sick day, but generally speaking, if you're not there, you're not going to be making money. On the other side of the equation are people that are making money through their investments, or they're making money by residual income. And that's where you really want to be, is making money with your investments and making money with your investment income. Now, when I say that, what does that mean? Well, what you're doing when you're making money on the investment side or with residual income is that's your cash flow. And on the other side is basically monies that you want to be using to pay your bills and basically saving some of that money. So on the side of residual income, that's where you can maybe use that money to buy things you don't need. So there's things that you need and things that you want. So things that you want, you would be using some of that money. So the next question would be, how do you move from the left side to the right side? Well, there's some strategies that we'll discuss in a minute in order to free up some of that money and to make some money on the investment side or the residual income side. But a very important factor that most people don't talk about in the industry of prosperity is the fact that you need health. Because there's no point in having a big nest egg and setting up your kids and your grandkids with a big nest egg if in fact you're not going to live to enjoy it yourself. You're not going to have those quality of life years. You're not going to, you know, if you're turning 70 years old and you're rather sickly, then there's no point in having this nice nest egg. Looking at some of the principles and beliefs that I tend to tell my patients, they do get better health and they get a better quality of life. So this is a very important part of the prosperity equation that most people forget about. And it's very important that you learn about how to live better quality years by following some basic health principles that we've discussed in other videos. So just getting back to money. Let's talk about insurance for just 1 second. In the old days, when there wasn't insurance, say you had 5 farmers they would come into an agreement that by some act of God, someone's barn burns down. They want to make sure that they don't have to stop what they're doing and tend to the fields, and the other four farmers are going to agree that they're going to come over and build the person's barn. So the farmer can continue to tend to his fields and doesn't have to worry about the barn having burnt down. So this concept of insurance shortly came afterwards, where someone came up with this idea that we'll guarantee to all the farmers that we will pay for that barn to be fixed if it was some act that was not their doing and the barn burnt down. But they're going to pay a premium for that assurance that, in fact, they don't have to worry about paying out money to get the barn fixed. So this idea of insurance came about, and that prior to those days, nobody had insurance. Nobody needed insurance. It was something that someone convinced everybody that they needed to have. Now in today's world, you need insurance, but it's important that you know what kind of insurance to buy. For example, it's not a good idea to buy whole life insurance on a child. Once you're making income, then you perhaps need some insurance, and then you want to buy what's called term life insurance. That's a whole lot cheaper than whole life policies, and you're going to be able to pack away all that money that you would have put in a whole life policy and perhaps invest in mutual funds or some other mechanism to make money for you. In other words, you're insuring yourself. And when you're at the point where you've got your nest egg is big enough, then you possibly don't even need insurance, because your nest egg is going to be your insurance. So in other words, you could build your own barn. Now another important thing that sometimes people ask about is how to send your kids to college for free. And this enters into the real estate aspect of investing. What you want to be able to do is to eventually, by the time your kids are old enough to go to college, instead of just having enough money that you pay their tuition and their books and where they're going to live, the suggestion that I would make, and many other people would make, would be that you should buy a piece of property close to the university or college where your child or children are going to school. You make them caretakers of that property for you, so you pay them an income which is tax deductible, and as well you buy this property that will eventually pay you back in dividends at least close to 10% upon graduation from the college. So that's where you get to send your kids to college for free, because the monies that you make on that investment would be the monies that you use to send your own kids to college. So they invite their best friends, people that aren't going to tear the place apart, aren't going to cause damage, are just there to be studious and be good students and not cause any problems. And then that property will be well worth its weight in gold, so to speak, and you'll be able to sell that property and make some money. The last little piece of information I'd like to cover is the importance of having your own business. Now, from a tax point of view, there's all kinds of advantages to having your own business. You should really take some time and actually look at a tax return form to see how that translates, so you understand that having your own business really makes a lot of sense, even if you're having to work for yourself. Having to work for someone else, and you need a little business on the side that you can begin to write off some of the things in terms of tax that normally you would spend on yourself, but now you're spending it because you're running this business and you need to have these expenses in order to run your business. And Canadian tax law or American tax law allow for one to have these legitimate tax relief programs for people that have a business. So everybody really should have a little business on the side. It's something that you enjoy doing. It shouldn't really be something that is too much of a stretch or something that you don't have an interest in. It really should have a little business on the side. That's something you enjoy. So those are just 3 strategies that are important in terms of learning about how to get more money. The last thing, and this is I'll close with this, is it's a story that was told to me many moons ago. There was this this zoo, and people would go walk by this bear and in this area of the zoo where the bears hang out, and they noticed, most of these people would notice that this one bear in particular sat on this bench that had a nail in it. And people would often wonder why this bear was sitting on the nail. And finally, someone decided to ask the zookeeper why the bear sat on this nail. So the zookeeper looked up at the bear and looked back at the person who asked the question and said something simply like this: "I guess the nail is not hurting the bear, because if it was hurting the bear, it would probably get up and do something about this pain." Well, do you want to be like the bear, or do you want to be like the people that get off the nail and actually do something about their difficult situation that you find yourself in? I would suggest strongly that you be like the bear that gets off the nail, and don't just sit there and complain about the pain. So it's difficult to imagine that when you're burdened by all these financial difficulties that most people are facing. Even people that are employed and working and making a good income are still not getting enough income that people like I suggest on the right hand side of that paradigm are working under. And again, it's so important to position yourself so you're enjoying quality years if you're following some basic health principles.